You may have seen the news recently about Tesla. They are apparently failing into oblivion, as the news would have you believe that all EV manufacturers are falling into oblivion. Well, that's properly not true. Really not true. It's literally all over the web, and it's the most ridiculous thing I've read this year. I know it's only April. Tesla has seen huge growth in its vehicle sales over the past decade. If you just look at the last 10 years, it's actually quite fascinating. Even if you think you know the history of Tesla and how well they've been doing, it's actually quite revealing because the numbers are so jumpy. Tesla has seen huge growth in its vehicle sales over the past decade, and it's really interesting to see all of that in retrospect. Now you can look back since they started delivering the Model S in 2012, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. They've had an amazing increase in production and deliveries year on year. So we'll go through that starting from 2013, when they sold 22,000 vehicles. Tesla sold 22,000 vehicles in a year. Kind of seems laughable now, doesn't it? So the company's sales surged dramatically. They actually reached 1.845 million vehicle sales last year through the whole year. So basically, in 11 years, they went from selling 22,000 vehicles a year to 22,000 vehicles every 4 days. And that's in 10 or 11 years. The breakdown of Tesla's annual vehicle production and sales since 2013 highlights this growth, basically. So, before I go through that, if you're new to the channel, I'm Ben Alexander, and I make EV news videos every day. Please do consider subscribing to help the channel grow, and so I can get some more subscribers to the channel. And I've noticed a lot of people are subscribing. Thank you very much. It's really nice to have you with us. There's a whole heap of people that comment, so yeah, take a minute and say hello or chat some stuff in there. Have a few, chuck your thoughts in the comments. It's pretty interesting, really. And there are some super bright people that watch, like, I don't know, electrochemists or engineers and electricians and all sorts of people. So feel free to let us know what you think in the comments. That is what it's there for. So 2013, Tesla sold 22,442 vehicles, marking the beginning of its journey selling EVs to the general public, not the initial the Roadster. Although the Model S started being delivered in 2012 in June. So 2014, 2017, or 2014 to 2017, yearly sales increased steadily, reaching over 100,000 vehicles by 2017. In 2018, a big jump occurred when Tesla sold 245,490 or 491 vehicles in the year. 2019 to 2021, sales nearly doubled each year, culminating in 936,000 vehicles sold in 2021. In 2022, sales reached 1.31 million vehicles for the whole year. 2023, their sales went from that 1.31 to 1.845 million vehicles for the whole year. That is crazy. So this jump in sales corresponds with Tesla's massive increase in production capacity. They've been really working hard and building factories and all sorts of stuff. This jump in sales corresponds with Tesla's increasing production capacity. For example, Tesla's vehicle production quadrupled from 2019 to 2022, when it was 4 times higher in 2022 than in 2019. A big deal, of course. So the pace of production has accelerated to the point where Tesla can now produce the same number of vehicles in just under 14 days that it took 50 days to produce back in 2019, and you could stretch that even further, of course. So Tesla's model lineup has really evolved, obviously, with the gigacastings, and they're always talking about efficiency, and that's going to change even more so when they produce the Model 2, which isn't called the Model 2, by the way, when they plan basically to build the car in one spot, have people and robots go to the car, build it, and then get it out of the building, as opposed to a rolling facility. So that's the idea, and they say that it will be more efficient and they can lower the price because of that. And that is, I think people genuinely believe now, they accept that that's how this is going. They're being very efficient building cars, more efficiently, and that really does lower the cost. They can really charge you less for a car, and that's how they're not really expensive. So if you look back as well, how it's evolved, initially focusing on the luxury Model S and the Model X as per Elon's tweet, which was his master plan, starting with selling expensive luxury cars or vehicles and then cheapen things. They then successfully transitioned to the higher volume Model 3, Model Y, which have gone crazy wherever you go. If you go to Amsterdam or England or I don't know, Scotland or Brisbane or Sydney, or it doesn't matter really, they are everywhere. Model 3s, Model Ys, everywhere. And 5 years ago, that kind of wasn't the case. So in a few years, they've got these cars everywhere. It's pretty amazing. That's how compelling it is. So the Model 3 and the Model Y, they've become the world's best-selling EVs in 2023, the most sold EVs. It's pretty crazy. So the company's annual revenue in 2023 was 96 billion US dollars, and then that was up from 81 billion in 2022. So the company's GAAP, or the GAAP, net income for the year was 15 billion US dollars, with 7.9 billion US dollars recorded in the fourth quarter alone, largely due to a one-time non-cash tax benefit of $5.9 billion. So basically, they're making tons of money, and how you could ever suggest that they're not making money or things are slipping in the wrong direction is beyond me. I have no idea why they would do that. It's pretty spectacular when you consider the supercharging network as well. That has grown to 5,878 stations in 45 countries as of December. So at the end of last year, that's how many stations they had. That expansion represents an almost 100% increase in supercharger locations over the past 2 years, supporting the growing number of Tesla vehicles, of course, that are on the road. If the cars are there, so does the superchargers. They need to also boost them. Tesla's journey over the past decade, or a bit more than a decade, isn't it, showcases a company that has rapidly scaled its production, its sales, infrastructure to meet the increasing demand for electric vehicles worldwide, setting itself apart. It really is a unique company, and there are no other companies like it. And you couldn't even say BYD is kind of comparable. I mean, I know we can look at the amount of money they make and the amount of cars they sold last year, which was 3 billion. And I think it was, no, 3 million, not billion, 3 million cars last year versus Tesla's 1.8. But not all those were full electric. I think it was something like 1.8 million were fully electric. If you know the answer to that, put it in the comments. I can't remember. If you look at this graph, you can actually see their figures for Tesla. So the net income is the smaller green line. That's how much money they made in profit. You can see they have been doing fantastic and will continue to do fantastic. And it's still perfectly reasonable for a company to make less money 1 month to the next, because this is the real world where businesses don't earn more and more and more than they did, every single month, the month before, forever. That doesn't happen like that. So, of course, the mainstream media want one of the most successful companies to make less briefly so that they can slap it all over the front pages. It's pretty damn lame to do this. I don't know why they're doing this. So, fairly quick video. That is how well Tesla are doing. Imponderably well. You couldn't compare them to other companies. They're doing super, super well. And also, another thing to mention is that Tesla's had a bad rap at first. They started selling their Model S in 2012, 13, and then they had reliability issues. When people drove them for a few years and they clocked up, say, 100,000 miles, sometimes there were stories of people replacing all of the handles at something like $1,000 each, and the screen would overheat. They fixed all their issues to the point where Toyota are really impressed. And now there are lots of people on the internet that are driving them for 200,000 miles with virtually no issues. Batteries are fine, motors are fine, wheel bearings are fine, things are going really well. So the handles don't really fail, the screen doesn't really fail anymore, and that's largely because, okay, they upgraded it a bit and they plumbed in the actual air conditioning system and the glycol and the liquid cooling through a heat pad, basically, where they put thermal paste on it and they literally push it to the back of the computer chipboard and they just pull the heat straight out of the computer. So that's kind of why the computer screens don't overheat anymore. Tesla really did nail it. They have nailed it, and that's why I don't now have any issues recommending to friends and family or anyone to go get a Tesla, which I did previously for a while. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to pop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be pretty much when this video goes live, I'll be checking the videos for its comments every 20 minutes or something like that for the next few hours just to check them. I don't always do that, but sometimes I do. Yeah, and then usually I just check them for half an hour every day, have a look through and write to people and whatever. So yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And if you're in the UK, go out and do some driving. The weather is stunning.